All right, kids, how are we doing? It's what I like to call Way Back Wednesday, a What Up Wednesday edition of the show. Montez at midday, being brought to you by a title sponsor, the Weed Squad St. Louis. Feel free to visit the website, www.dremontez.com, to get a complete listing of all of the sponsors right there. You know what we got to do? High fives in the building. Chest bump. Ah, let's hug it out. Gotta get that hug in there. Get that hug in there. There we go. All righty. All right. If you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you. If you just had a kid, congratulations. If you just purchased a new vehicle, you deserve it. And don't forget, most importantly, to appreciate the details of the day. You may have noticed I have someone here peeking in the window right here. Well, today on the show, got a good friend of mine joining the show. I'm going to call him Attorney Brian, a lawyer Brian. He's with the Show Me Lawyers Group. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hey, Dre, thanks for having me. As soon as you invited me, I said, as soon as I said, Dre, you got to have me on the show. And then you said, okay, you come on in. And I was excited.
You see how easy it is? People always say to me, man, I want to be on your show. I want to be on your show. And he followed the directions, gave me contact information to get a hold of him. He was available at the window time of opportunity, which is 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we followed up, and boom, and here we are having this great discussion on this.
Well, you were so packed with content. It did take me 2-3 weeks to get in. So it wasn't like I was like, come on, get me.
Well, I was busy because I went to Oklahoma City.
Right on.
That nature. But we got back into the groove, and this topic or conversation that we're going to have could not come at a better time. But before we get into that, I hope everyone had a great and wonderful Valentine's Day. There you go. There you go. It turned out a little better than what I thought. Foremost, shout out to Friendlies in South City, located at 3503. They had a customer appreciation party, and we had a chance to sample some of the objects that could be coming out on the upcoming new menu for food. So it was awesome. It was awesome.
Delicious.
That was delicious. Friendly's, family and staff, and to my man Ken, it was a great afternoon treat to have right there. That really was pretty cool. And then I got a chance to enjoy some Monday night open mic comedy at Big Daddy's in Soulard, hosted by my man Jeremy. And I tell you what, I don't know how to tell jokes for nothing, but I think my life itself is funny as fuck. And I used to do stand-up comedy open mic night on Sundays at Nick's Pub a few years ago. I'm thinking about giving this a try again on Monday. So I'm gonna give it a try this Monday at Soulard.
Dre, you gotta get back up on the stage. I'm telling you. Are you 6 foot tall?
Back up there.
Who's 6 foot tall? You're 6 foot tall? Stand up. Stand up. Yeah, you got to get back on the stage. You are built for the stage. You are built. I kid you not, sir. I kid you not. If I thought you were going to bore the crowd, I'd say, don't do it, Dre. You got to do it.
Speaking of don't do it, I should do it.
You were built to start. There's a lot
of things going on that we can control and can't control. I think that's what makes the sports world that much fun to debate. Is things that we cannot control, but we're going to talk about it. And right now, we just finished up the Super Bowl. There are people still getting over that hang up. Trust me, I'm with you in there. But there's something else going on called Major League Baseball. And right now, we at a very pivotal point in the season. We're usually getting ready to enjoy pitchers and catchers reporting. But a little stoppage right now going on. But in the midst of this, the National League and Major League Baseball has informed all of us that the DH rule now will be in the National League as well. So when this came out, the discussion with lawyer Brian here got to a point. I'm like, hold on, we got to save that. Let me save that for the people. Save it for the people. Now, the DH rule started in 1973. If you don't know, it's the designated hitter that was only in the American League. But the idea came about in the 1920s through the Connie Mack back in the day. Then it resurfaced in the late 60s due to the way the pitching was being dominated in the National League. So you had Denny McClain winning 31 games and Bob Gibson posting a 1.12 ERA, and then you had Carl Yastrzemski with the highest batting average in the American League at 301.
That was 1968. All
1968. So baseball figured out something needs to be done. So they came out with the DH rule for the American League only.
Well, I will say this, Dre. The American League specifically was having problems with filling their stadiums. National League, not so much. So there are moving parts as you've explained, for all of the reasons of why the American League decided to do that. But that was also a part of, we'll get more people through the gates in the seats watching the game in these American League cities. We can't quite figure out why the National League cities are posting this much higher of attendance than the American League. So there's moving parts to why that happened. It wasn't only because of Denny McClain, 31 wins, 1.12 ERA from Bob Gibson, and the Triple Crown winner in 1968 only having a 301 batting average in Carl Yastrzemski. Right.
They want to led up to it. Those are like some of the key points to the look. Sure. See here. Here's my proof on why we need to do this. Now,
but they lowered the mound, right? They lowered the mound after 1968.
Yeah, it went from 15 to 10 inches.
Yeah,
that's what she said. Yeah, it went from 15 to 10 inches.
Stop it. That's why you're going to have to be on stage next week.
But you had that. You also had the strike zone. They adjusted that. It went from the top of the shoulder to the armpits. That was kind of messing with the people too as well. So you had that with the numbers that baseball was putting up coming into that 68 season and leading up to 73 when the change apparently eventually went in. But you are not a fan of the DH, are you?
No, I mean, it's a fundamental change of the strategy of the game. If you lower the mound, the arc of the ball coming to the hitter is going to get flatter by a degree or two. But it doesn't fundamentally change the strategy of the game, right?
Right.
We have managers that now essentially almost hold no responsibility for what is going to occur during the play of the game. Once that manager fills out his lineup card and hands it to the umpire, and that becomes the batting order and the position play, manager's now going to be done. What we have is a situation where when the game starts to get exciting, when the game in the later innings starts to matter, maybe in the earlier innings, maybe that's your chance, and you got a pitcher coming up, there's a few things that'll happen. There'll be a bunt to try and move a runner from first into second in the scoring position, or second to third. Or you're going to have a pinch hitter, or if you're on the other side and you're in the field and you know that something's happening because you've got a change in the other team's lineup, you might have to take your right fielder, your third baseman, swap him out with the new pitcher coming in to bat against the opponent's new hitter. It's called a double switch. We've got strategy that's happening. If you just think about the bunt, which just doesn't occur with the designated hitter, the bunt puts the ball into play. The complaint that Major League Baseball, Manfred, and all people trying to go, we got to get more people to like baseball. We got to get more people in the stadium, more people watching on the television. It's not because of, it's a 3.5 hour game. No, if it's an action-packed game, people will watch. People watch football games that go 4 hours of overtime. Why? It's exciting. The more that the ball is in play creates movement on the bases. The more there's movement on the bases and the defensive players are actually participating, the more interesting it is. If you're going for designated hitter, you're not going to get those bunts to move move players over. Oh, not exciting. It's a bunt. Well, it's first to second. You got to throw that ball. Somebody throws it away. Things are moving. Things are happening. The ball's now in right field. We got an E1. The guy's gone to third. Maybe he's going to score. Maybe that's the go-ahead score. We've got things happening. This is just going to narrow down the action on the field. Number one. You're not going to see nearly as many sacrifice bunts. So what's that do? What do designated hitters do best? They strike out and hit home runs. Boy, everybody thinks, oh, Major League Baseball will become more popular if we get those power pitchers striking people out and those power hitters hitting home runs. What do both of those things do? They end the movement or the action on the field. Why are home runs called rally killers? Because whatever you got happening on the bases that's distracting.
It's cleared up now.
They're distracting the defensive players. They're distracting the pitcher. It's creating tension. Home run, it's over. Rally killer. Strikeout, oh. Neither one of those have put a ball into play. You can say the home run's into play, but it's actually not. No one's touched. It's gone. The designated.
Like one of my things I had was on the bunt, the sacrifice. That's what I've been saying the past few years. Nobody is moving the runners that we're used to the old school way. Nobody is sacrificing that runner. That's right. The hit and run, okay, but what about the other ways to advance the runner? What happened to that part of the game?
Three main ways plus a sacrifice fly, but three main ways. The sacrifice, as you said, will bunt them over. The hit and run creates excitement, but a lot of times, you don't get the hit. It's a swing and a miss, and it's a strike them out, throw them.
They didn't
but
get
number
the
three, what about can we get back to some stolen bases?
Oh, the beauty. Love it.
The St. Louis Cardinals of the 1980s were amongst the most exciting teams for viewers to watch. They were very popular nationwide, of course, popular here. They had those Cardinals had the fewest home runs, but they had by far the most stolen bases. You got Willie McGee, you got Vince Coleman, you got Lonnie Smith, you got Terry Pendle. These people, Ozzie Smith.
Hurd was even getting down a little bit.
Yeah. Ozzie Smith has over 500 stolen bases career-wise.
Wow. That's quiet.
So you've got that happening. All of these things start to narrow into a less creative, less action-packed, less dynamic in the realm of movement in the field of the baseball game. Also, I think it's just a fundamental change in if you are competing in the game, you need to compete in the game. We're dividing out somebody who stays on the bench for part of the time, but gets up and plays another time. Oh, the pitcher's on the field during defense, but this guy stands up and hits 4 times, and that's all he participates.
It's kind of like the same reason everybody had the reasoning behind how the pitcher gets a save in baseball.
Yeah.
That presented an argument for a few years. People were talking about that, as well as now with this DH situation. Does this change now the whole complexion of the strategy that the National League has been presented with?
Well, I think so. I think that either you can change the save rule, or more likely, you can define in the rules a new statistic called the hold. We talk about the hold, HOLD. It's a high leverage situation in innings earlier than like the 9th inning, where a pitcher has entered the game and has ended the inning with the team threatening not taking the lead. If there's a way to define what a high leverage situation is, and you determine what a hold is, similar, it's matching, mirroring the save rule, and you start to see, oh my gosh, my most important or highest paid relief pitcher, really it comes in the 7th or 8th or 5th or 6th, because that's where the game is on the line.
Right.
I would agree with you.
I'm thinking there's position of the runners and how many outs it is too as well. If there's just a runner at first and nobody's on, I'm thinking that can come into play. But if there's a runner at second or third and there's 1 out versus no outs, that could change. But I like that idea though. That's pretty, because then you can pretty much pinpoint how to use your pitches. When you find out, if you're looking at the numbers, which baseball is all about numbers, if you're just following the numbers of the game and you can see your players' performance levels and if they're meeting them in that high crucial moment, that could be a very winnable situation for its data in baseball.
I mean, what if you've got, that the team your opponent has, the old Bumgarner on, or you've got a Kershaw who's just knocking them down, and you got one chance to get a run, and you get that run in the third inning, and then your pitcher, who is not a Kershaw, Bumgarner, or any of the other marquee starting pitchers, gets into trouble in the fifth inning, and you bring in who you would call your closer and shut that down, because you're not going to get another run. Kershaw gave up the run, and now it's you either win 1-0 or you don't win. That fifth inning save, hold, whatever, needs to be identified as a marketable, valuable statistic. I don't know how the National League or all of baseball now might change its strategy in dealing with pitchers because of the designated hitter. But I do know this much. I think there will be fewer pitching changes because you don't have to take the pitcher out to hit if you need that one more run, right? You just got your designated hitter. I'll say one other thing. I think it's counterintuitive to think that if we narrow the strike zone, we will increase more hitting, because that's what we want. So all of a sudden, oh gosh, we've narrowed. I think it's the other way. If you make it hard to hit because it's up here, like it used to be at the shoulders, keep it at the letters, just below the letters.
Mm-hmm.
But you make sure that you're using all 17 inches of that plate. And that is to say, if any thread of that baseball touches any part of that plate, you got to call that a strike. And include make sure that the umpires, what's that?
Including the black on the plate?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say.
Because when I played softball, I played in a league one year where they included the black. The black was included.
Yeah, that's like an extra inch.
Yeah,
I think by the rule of baseball, it doesn't include the black. But I certainly think that if we keep the strike zone from the bottom of the letters to the bottom of the knees, and then you make sure that those umpires are to call that strike as it clips just the edge. Let's call it the black.
Right.
If you expand the strike zone, because those umpires that call.
I thought I knew the umpires. I really did. I thought I knew umpires. I don't know them anymore. They're in their own world. They think they are the marquee on the ticket.
They're the stars now.
Yeah.
But when they call, you ever notice a tight strike zone creates a situation where hitters don't swing. They're looking for the walk. If we create a situation where the hitters go, I better swing or I'm going to strike out, that will increase hitting. I also think that if you want to, I don't know what the issue is with hitting, but it seems to me that it's not a skill issue or oh gosh, the pitchers are now just so dominant. It seems to me like the theory behind teaching players at the major league and minor league levels how to hit has changed. Launch angle.
It definitely has. There's more video data that they're using than just the actual common sense and the basic skills. I think they're relying on video way too much.
Can we not just get back to bat ball contact? There's so many strikeouts, man. And they're
just through the roof.
Yeah,
but a lot of these pitchers, though, they're bringing movement on the ball. They're not just throwing the ball hard.
Right.
They're putting movement on the ball, which to me, I think is good for baseball. It's good for baseball. Now, with this DH rule, with it coming to the National League now, does this kind of get the folks in St. Louis in a little chippery mood to say, Albert, Carton, talk?
You never can tell what this ownership group thinks or what they're going to do. I think a final year with Albert as the DH against left-handed pitching and certain right-handed pitchers would be fine. I'm an Albert fan. Most people in St. Louis are. There are Albert haters here. There are.
They exist everywhere. Not everyone is going to like it. Not everybody.
Yeah. But he's he's a top 5 all-time baseball player. He's going to have almost 700 home runs. We're talking 3,400, 3,500 hits. He's got
that's insane, man.
The only baseball player who has more RBI than or RBIs or RSBI or RBI than Albert is what, Babe Ruth? Like there's nobody
insane.
There's nobody has more. There's only like 3 people that have 2,000 RBIs. Albert's one. What is the name of the game? Runs. How do you get runs? Batted in. That is it.
It's so simple.
It's so simple. Hank Aaron, Albert Pujols, and Babe Ruth, the 2,000 RBI guys. This man is a top 5 all-time player, and I might put him in.
Heck yeah.
He is going to, had he stayed with the Cardinals, he would be eclipsing Stan Musial because he didn't stay with the Cardinals. Stan Musial is at the top of the hill, but Albert Pujols is, I don't know who to put ahead of him.
It's just something amazing. I can't believe that it went by so fast. Now, to the people that are talking about this DH rule, whether they're for it or not, don't give a hoot, rat's ass, what Major League Baseball does. But on the other side of this, I'm thinking of this as far as the competition is concerned. I want to go back to the regular format. If we're going to bring both DHs to the league, stop this interleague play. Make the World Series that much more intriguing.
Well, you've given me the perfect argument to take away the DH from the NL. Let's let the NL exist in and of itself. Stop this interleague play. Let's meet in the Super Bowl, in the World Series, and see what these two leagues are about.
Right.
They don't know each other. Well, this all started in like 1996 or 97 or something.
The interleague play was fun doing it during the season. Certain ball clubs got to experience it. But when the whole fucking league got to doing it, come on. Where's the excitement at doing the World Series? They didn't play each other 12 times this year.
Yeah. I'm all for that too. And that would, again, put me in a situation where I'd say, well, then take away the designated hitter. We don't need to have that in the National League because we're not swapping. Also, the designated hitter statistically showed no likelihood of either league to win. That is to say, American League teams and National League teams playing in each other's ballparks. I think the AL actually kind of came out on top. So people are, oh, wow, the AL is going to lose every time they come because they've got a pitcher who can't hit. Here's the thing. If you work at some industry and you're in a union and your union guys are negotiating the next contract, you're trying to narrow the occasions of variations of different types of work so there's no injuries. So you create a predictability at work. This is an entertainment system. And now we've put the wonderful effects of organized labor that has, changed at least this country and many others since the 1930s to basically say we got a seat at the table. It's actually the players themselves are hurting the presentation of the competition for the fans, the ones who pay their bills. This is not a forklift driver who would like to have an automatic, gear change and a smoother riser on his forks. We're talking about
popularity. They've put popularity over the style of play of the game.
Yeah. And also you get more older players to remain, right? Number one. And number two, the pitchers, they don't have to do as much work now. So you're going to increase your payroll. It works out for the bottom line of the union and the workers in the sense of like they're workers. These are entertainer millionaires.
Right.
But it seems like players union is short-sighted. We're going to see a continual degradation unless we see more action on the field. If this leads to a lot more balls in play, fewer strikeouts,
more wins from small market teams, or we need to get these big market teams back in a competitive play. The Angels need to be in the postseason, as well as the Yankees and the Mets and the Cardinals. But those other teams on the rise that have spent a lot of money, they've reshaped the game. The kids are having fun. That type of atmosphere. Those teams as well need to make the postseason.
Yeah, we need a full competition. That's why I would have no problem if the Major League Baseball economic or how they organize themselves economically just mirrored the National Football League, creating parity from market to market to market. And then you'll have a real competition between who is the best general manager. Because when everybody's on the same playing field and they just didn't outbuy you because they're in a bigger market, all of a sudden we know who the better executives are. They make better decisions. They've got better staff that's doing the drafting. The younger players are more important because they're cheaper. So you have to play that game.
You have to be in the know in Major League Baseball. You can't be too old school when it comes to the strategy of the game from the technical side of the game. You have to be in the know. You have to know these numbers. You got to see way beyond the secret of the curve when it comes to today's baseball.
Oh, man, you got to look, 5 and 10 years out? Because if you've got a young guy who's going to help you win the World Series and he's making league minimum or the arbitration estimated minimum before he becomes, his own contracted player, he's club property. We only got that for 5 or 6 years. You better start figuring out how much you're going to pay him early, that he's not going to be a bust later just because he got you a trophy, aka Jordan Binnington. And then you got to be able to predict who you're going to let go, and you got to be able to predict who your young guys coming up are going to fill that role of the less expensive players.
Yeah, that evaluating talent in baseball has to be a very stressful damn job, very stressful. But that's why I kind of think that's one of the things they're negotiating between the Players Association and Major League Baseball was that time, that window of time for your talent going through the minors to the major leagues. There should be a way to evaluate the talent than hearing these stories. This guy's been in the minor leagues for 12 years, and now he's finally made it. There should be a way to cut that out.
Yeah. I agree.
That's way too long. Way too long.
You know what I also think is like John Jay played 6 years with the Cardinals, and I think in his 6th year, what his arbitration value was like $2 million a year. Okay, he's making $500,000 the first year, and $7 the second, and $8 the third, and $9, and then his 6th year he's making $2 million. John Jay didn't get a contract until he went to either San Diego or I think it was San Diego.
Yeah,
and he got a 2-year, and I believe it was a $8 million contract. So he gets 2 $4 million contracts. Now he's gotten paid. But before that, when you have to live like a major leaguer, and don't kid yourself, when you're in that circle, you've got to sometimes.
Yeah, you got to act like you belong there. Like I've been to the 40-40 club before. I got to act like I've been here before.
That's right.
But you really don't have that.
That means you're spending more money. So you can't, I'm making $500,000 a year, and all of a sudden at the end of your 3-year major league career, you got nothing left. There needs to be more money up front for younger players. Then you can't get your payday until your 7th and 8th year, or 7th, 8th, 9th year, whatever. John Jay ended up getting a 2-year for $8 from the Padres, and I believe he got a 4-year with the Cubs for something like 15. He ended up making enough money to retire very handsomely, but it was on the fence of what was he going to get a contract? Was he going to make the money? He did get his 10 years of service in. So, at retirement, in Major League Baseball, you get $100,000 a year for 10 years of service. And it goes down on the sliding scale. I think once you get 2 years of service, you need to start paying some people at retirement, 25, 30 grand a year, a little bit more, because these people go through the minor leagues making no money at all.
Eating like crap. I mean, it's just the path to the pros for a baseball player is something else. But the story of Fernando Tatis Jr., going the unconventional way as far as getting to the minor leagues, getting to Major League Baseball level, the way he gambled on himself, he got the money up front, so to speak, but going through that process, they are just, is what they find young talent that they invest in. They know the kid is going to need the best sleeping arrangements, best food, diet, all that. They give them the money up front. But they get their money when you sign your first major league contract.
That's
and
putting
Fernando Tatis did that.
That's right. I think a lot of his money goes to the baseball college that he went, not a college, but the baseball, kind of instructional corporation he went to. I mean, I think
it was done by a former Major League Baseball player who was a pitcher who came up with this idea when he was going through an injury. And just thinking about the game of baseball and thinking about, his financial situation at the time, what it could be like if the game ended right there. And as you just said, when you're around that circle, you feel like I want to hang in here as long as I can. But when you don't have the ends anymore, it gets a little complicated. And just trying to hold on to that statue, that situation right there. So we saw this opportunity, and Fernando Tatis did that, and it turned out to be a very positive move for him. I think they have 25 to 30 players in their system.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool.
They're making a ton of money because I believe Fernando Tatis actually gives up at minimum half of his salary each and every year of this first contract he got. I don't know. I mean, he got hundreds of millions. I think that they're taking a big take.
And pans out and get it to some postseason. I think that's when baseball figures out they made their money back off of you. Is when they get into the postseason or win in the postseason. But just getting regular season wins just not enough when they spend all that money on.
I'll tell you what, if they don't find a way to get ball in play, the DH is only going to antagonize the complaints that people already have. The games are too long. Hey, put the pitcher on a clock. It's a 20-second clock, and when he doesn't throw the pitch, it's ball 2, ball 1, ball 3, ball 4. We don't
can't rush great taste. You never went in there and rush your grandmother cooking dinner. Grandma, hurry up. No.
I don't have a problem
with the way I cook it.
Hey, the human rain delay is a coined term for a reason. Those are those pitchers that take forever to throw every single pitch. Put them on the clock. I don't have a problem. But ultimately, baseball is not getting criticism because of the length of the games. They're shorter than the average NFL game. We need action. And God willing, the postseason, where baseball makes its nut back, as you say, the postseason will bring us some action and some excitement.
Yeah,
and,
definitely will. Definitely will.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Do you
want
to know why?
I appreciate it today.
Oh, well, I appreciate you. Next time, I'll tell you why baseball is the greatest sport of all time. We'll save that for another one. There's about 4 or 5 reasons.
Okay, got you. Can you plug your business one more time for the people?
Oh, yeah. ShowMeLawyerGroup.com. ShowMeLawyerGroup.com. If you got a problem with criminal, immigration, or probate, and sometimes civil, just give us a shout out on the website. You'll find our phone number and email.
Thank you, my man.
I'm gonna owe you a bucket for that. Maybe 2.
All right. Dre gets a bucket. All right.
Yeah, I got to plug the website. Thanks, Dre.
No problem, man. Thank you so much.
If you're 6 foot tall, stand up. If you're 6 foot tall, take care, buddy.
All right, my man. Peace out. Thank you.
I'll see you.
Again, that was my man, Attorney Brian, right there with the Show Me Lawyers Group. I will share his information to you guys, but man, what a treat. What a treat. What a treat. That was fun. That was definitely fun right there. As we talked about, Major League Baseball made a change, and it's called the designated hitter rule. Now they have one internationally. Does that mean we're going to get number 5 back? America, that being Albert Pujols. Will he be coming home to retire as a Cardinal as it should be in the first damn place? Well, that was fun right there. Again, I hope everyone had a great Valentine's Day on Monday, and it was fun doing watching Mike night and Big Daddy's on Monday nights. My boy Jeremy right there. That was a lot of fun. Again, shout out to my man Attorney Brian right there. That was fun. That was a good talk right there, talking about the DH rule. Well, good folks, good people, it has been fun. It has been fantastic, as usual. Shout out again to the sponsors. The title sponsor in the building there, Weed Squad of St. Louis. There it is already. All right. CertaPro Painters, Oklahoma. Hit him up. There it is. All right, good folks. We out of here. Thanks for tuning in to Montez at Midday. Until next time, which will be Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll talk to you then. Peace. And we are out.